Alright, your American Public Transportation Association recommended practices for your propulsion control periodic inspection maintenance. Introduction, frequency, requirements of specific task, material, tools, safety, personnel, protective equipment, treatment requirements, inspection, maintenance, function, road, track, test, correction, efficiency, related APTA, standard definitions, reference, abbreviations, an acronym, summary, document changes, and document history. Alright, this introduction is not part of the APTA RTVIM RP01803. Revision 1. Recommended practice for the propulsion control periodic inspection. Recommended practice representative of the common viewpoint with the part of the concern with the provision, namely transit operating planning agencies, manufacturer, consultant, engineer, general interest group, the application of any of the standard practice for the guidelines contained here and appear voluntarily. In some cases, the federal state regulations gave portions of the rail transit systems, and in the other cases, the government regulation proceedings over the recommended practices. The APTA recognized that the certain application standard of the practice implemented in individual rail transit may be either more or less restrictive than given in the document. The recommended practice described the basic inspection maintenance with the requirements of the propulsion controls found with the rail transit system. American Public Transportation Association recommends use of the recommended practice. Individual organizations expected to maintain propulsion controls in railway transit vehicles. Individual organization contract with the other maintenance for the propulsion control of the railway transit vehicles. Individual organization influencing how propulsion controls are maintained in rail transit vehicles. Alright, propulsion controls periodic inspection maintenance frequency. Your periodic inspection maintenance with the task of the propulsion controls shall be performed on a regular schedule determined by the rail transit system. The frequency of the task of obtaining with a periodic maintenance inspection comply with all applicable federal, state, local regulations further in contact with the operating authority. The periodic inspection maintenance program frequency for individual tasks shall be established based on the number of additional factors included but not limited to the following: original equipment the manufacturer recommended intervals, industrial experience, operating environmental conditions, historical data, performance requirements, failure analysis, rail transit system testing, and experience, reliable centered maintenance programs. 2. Requirements specific to the task. Warning: to avoid possible injury, compress air with the dislodged dirty and debris where appropriate. Eye respiratory protection for air pressure for the nozzle below 30 psi. Warning: to avoid possible injury, be used for the cleaning agent for the consultant to comply with the precaution for the material safety data sheet for the product being used before it's used. Use of the product that have been proven safely authorized applicable to the application of the rail transit system. Warning: before working on the propulsion system, make sure that the appropriate system of the circuit breaker and the switches are open, properly locked, tagged, and grounded in accordance with the railway transit system procedures. Warning: to avoid possible injury, follow the agency lockout tagout procedure. Notify that the concerned equipment is about to be energized before restoring power. If vehicles are coupled with the controls or train line, and ensure that the safety of the equipment of the coupled cars to become operational before energizing high voltage battery circuits. Warning: to avoid possible injury with the original equipment, the railway transit system provided with the warning labels for the discharge capacitor, which may store energy with the outside of the shore of the power have been de-energized. Warning: care must be secured with the wheel chocks, parking, handbrakes, etc. per agency procedure before working on a car. Caution: merger testing, mega testing requires precautions to take in protection electronic components. 2.1 Materials. Following materials are required: approved lubricants and materials referenced with the original equipment manufacturer maintenance manual. 2.2 Tools. In addition to special tools, gauge fixtures that may be recommended with the original equipment manufacturer or developed by the rail transit system. Following equipment is required with the procedures documented in multimeter insulation tester, mega go or no-go gauges. Tools may require periodic calibration or specified with the RTS rail transit systems practices. Alright, 2.3 Safety, personnel, and protective equipment. Appropriate personnel active equipment meet American and National Standard Institute standard that required with the rail transit system should be worn at all times performing the inspection maintenance tab of the rail transit system. Establish safety procedures followed at all times performance of these inspection maintenance. 2.4 Training requirements. Rail transit system, the maintenance of the control contractors shall develop and execute the training program that provide with the employee with the knowledge and skill necessary safely and effectively performing the task outlined recommended practice. Personnel involved with these inspection maintenance activities should be performed with the original equipment the manufacturer railway transit safety regulations applying equipment operating on line at line voltage, including storage device and storage energy. Even with the offline inspection, personnel should be familiar with wiring harness connection process, practices used within equipment. They should know how they identify the blown fuse and interpret the devices. Should recognize serviceability device conditions. All the device inspectors should be trained with the application regarding reading gauges used in the inspection. They should be able to access diagnostic codes, able to access diagnostic information using a PC where it is necessary. Periodic retraining and retesting should be undertaken to ensure the person knows where they are inspecting and determine the fitness of the service. Alright, 2.5, inspection and maintenance. In the following procedure for the original equipment, the manufacturer maintenance manager will be referred to in such items as torque value, valves, setting, pass file, criteria, condemning limits, clearing measurement, specified in the specific procedure methodology. Devices should be cleaned for proper inspection. These procedures cover all the visual inspection, adjustments, functional testing, propulsion control equipment methodologies, resolution deficiencies noted with the performance of these procedures should be detailed with the rail transit system in conjunction with the original equipment manufacturer recommendations, documentation, inspection, maintenance process, intervals of deficiency, resolution of these deficiencies should be done with a comprehensive manner that create with a useful database and enhancing reliability and accountability of the process. Since there are wide variation of the system architecture of the propulsion controls, no attempt to specify what the components should be inspected. Different rail transitions to make a figure work to accommodate craft shift, assignment of maintenance philosophy, etc. Are the key effective inspection of the work crew knows that the inspector accurately determine the condition. Check sheets and effective the way to accomplish it. The check sheet should be backed up with explanatory information. Information should be key for the check sheet for the conveniency by using the same section numbering of the instance of this check sheet should be the list of the inspection made prior to the place of the identified inspector. Prior to place to record deficiencies, they should be met with the recording disposition items not required corrected. Way to track the items that they are until they are repaired. Provision should be made in identification of the person and making the repairs. Alright, provision should be made for a supervisor or other designated employee review, sign of the complete with the inspected check sheets. Completed inspection check sheets should be filed in accordance with the rail transit system documentation retention policy. Note, computerized maintenance management information systems may not accommodate technician signatures in the absence. Signature line responsibility of the rail transit system. Sure inspection reports can be traced back to the individual performing the inspection with accountability. Alright, 251, review history. Microprocessor fault data logs where you use vehicle maintenance history files shall be available to review before starting inspection maintenance. Diagnostic information pinpoint for the components that are repeated failing and perhaps intermediately troublesome components are immediately identified receiving the more detailed inspection function sheets. 252, cleaning. Cleaning should be completed before any inspection work begins. Cleaning process with any type of the propulsion control in use of effective the filtering and sealing. The typical methods include air blow, vacuum, essential switch resistor equipment may be used as solid state equipment where required manual wipe down electrical insulating surfaces, cleaning heat sinks, changing or cooling air filters. Whatever method is instruction cleaning should be written and should be described in detail with components cleaned as well as the method, tools, cleaning agents to be used. Where possible, photographs, illustrations should be used to identify the components to be cleaned. 253, inspection control voltage de-energized. Inspect the following clean, repair, and replace as required. Check for the master control cam and the switch for the pentadometer, ensure the mechanical handle interlock functions and tank of the lubricant is required. B. Check for the control group enclosure damage, proper fitting with the cover of the cooling ducts and latches. C. Check electronic card rack for the proper seating of the circuit cards. D. Check bus cable, the wiring harness for the proper routing securement. E. Check fuse and circuit breaker for the other protective device. Note the reason for the blown fuse trip circuit breaker should be found and corrected. F. Check for the capacitor for the sign of leakage. Check the resistor for the sign overheating loose connections. Check with air lines for leakage damage. Check electrical connectors for signs of looseness, overheating, corrosion. J. Check the electrical insulation on semiconductors, other insulators for dirt and signs of the flashover. Check switchgear for the trip condition. Outer sheath shows blowout coils. Operating coils are air concerned mechanical components such as hand polish, spring shafts, and replace as required. Any lubricant is required whenever the possible objective measure criteria should be specified along with the required gauges of measurement. Limited illustration now newly acceptable for service. The fully worn conditions should be whenever possible. Check manual wheel size compensation just as required if so equipped. Alright, 254, inspection control voltage energized. Perform the portion inspection specified with the propulsion controls in use. They should be set up with the propulsion control voltage energized, line voltage de-energized. Check for the control voltage within the specified limit that adjust as required. Check for the air pressure within the specified limit that adjust as required. Trouble code the diagnostic indicator should be recorded and cleared. A secure self-test should be performed with extent possible particular equipment. Verify petroleum brake command with the master control automatic train operation system where applicable. Verify interlocking signals, including door braking signal system. After locking device have been removed, store all circuit breaker switches to cut out operating position. Verify operation load weight system. Alright, 2.6 functional road rack and road and track test. The intervals required specified by the rail transit system maintenance procedures of the car shall be instrumented with the test of verifying, monitoring, braking rates. Equipment is designed with and enunciate long abnormal rates of current. May not require the test. Instrument of the car repair diagnostic system record monitoring, preparing for performance values per original equipment that manufacture railway transit system procedures. Operate the car in sufficient monitoring braking modes to ensure the monitoring and braking rates are within the rail transportation system specifications. Alright, 2.7, the correction of the deficiencies. Any deficiencies uncovered during the inspection section 2.5 through 2.6 should be corrected in the document in accordance with the rail transit system procedure, original equipment manufacturer recommendations. Related APTA standards done at this time. References, definition, abbreviation, summary of documentation change, document history. And this was your propulsion controls periodic inspection and maintenance.